from the Cornbread Nation, Rob and Dave from the Rock Hall of Fame. Hump Day views from the Cornbread Nation, Rob and Dave on the Hump Day Show. We're talking all out of the Southern Fried Nation. We're talking all out of Cornbread Nation, Rob and Dave from the Rock Hall of Fame. Rob and Dave from the Cornbread Nation. We're talking all out of Southern Fried Nation. We're talking all out of Cornbread Nation. Rob and Dave from the Rock Hall of Fame. Rob and Dave from the Cornbread Nation. We're talking all out of the Southern Fried Nation. We're talking all out of Cornbread Nation. Rob and Dave from the Rock Hall of Fame. Rob and Dave from the Cornbread Nation. Hump Day views from the Cornbread Nation, Rob and Dave from the Rock Hall of Fame. Hump Day views from the Cornbread Nation, Rob and Dave on the Hump Day Show. We're talking all out of Southern Fried Nation. We're talking all out of Cornbread Nation. Rob and Dave from the Rock Hall of Fame. Rob and Dave from the Cornbread Nation. Hump Day views from the Cornbread Nation. Hump Day views from the Cornbread Nation. Hump Day views from the Cornbread Nation. Rob and Dave on the Hump Day Show.
Ooh. We just rock that right on in here, sir. Hi.
Yeah.
Well, hey, everybody out there, we welcome you to the Hump Day Views here on the Southern Fried Podcast. I'm Rob. That's Dave. I'm the good looking one. You can tell us apart real easy. But he's the nicer one. So, howdy, Michael. Glad you're in here already tonight. We hope y'all have had a great hump day. I'm moving slow, but I'm moving. How you doing tonight, Dave?
I'm good. Trying to get caught up at work, holiday. Then I was in a class, working at home. I had a list of about 20 things today. I think I knocked 4 off the list. So 16 rolling tomorrow, which will probably add 4 more back. So I'll probably still have the same 20 still. Hello, Miss Jen.
Hey, Miss Jen. How are you doing tonight? I hope y'all are doing well. I'm gonna wait a little while, but I got some footage from down yonder I want to share with folks. So, I don't know.
And our topic tonight is, after the videos, are what scares you or has scared you in your life. Those things that you can explain or not explain. It scared you. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Sometimes not being able to explain it scares you more.
Yeah.
Things that go bump in the night. There's been a lot of guys woke up at the next morning and were very scared in places that they woke up.
No, I did hear a strange voice, last year, in the middle of the night. It's kind of going, "Get out. Get out." Right here in the house.
Was that animal or human?
I think it was human. Sure did sound grumpy. Amen to that, James. That's kind of what I'm talking about.
Hey, James, you want to come up? I don't know if he can get in through into StreamYard, though. I don't know if he can, because I think he just has Rumble, but he might have something else. It might work.
Just send him a link. He ain't got to be on StreamYard.
Well, he'll have to follow the link. We'll send you an invite, man. Everybody can see James. Some people don't know who James is.
I'll tell you what, while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and play these videos from
let's do it.
last weekend. I get pull up. Oh, that's not the one I want. That's not the what I want. What in the world is going on? It's all right. I got another way I can do this. Ain't nothing but a thing. Ain't nothing but a G thing, baby. Nothing but a G thing. See if I can find this down here that I'm looking for. And think it is this one.
I think. Okay, let me get that email, brother, because I think I did it. Let me see what I sent it to. You got it, man. Hang on just a second.
Trying to get all this stuff set up just right. And then you get everything set up just right. And then you turn around and it's all gone. I don't understand this thing sometimes.
That's podcasting, man. Hey, you got it, man, whenever you're ready. No hurry. It's so wild you popped in here. I told my wife. We were watching. Well, we weren't even watching. I was telling her, and out of the blue, I said, I need to invite James up next time we do a show. Dang if he didn't pop in.
There you go.
That's kind of scary right there that we're thinking all alike.
Yeah. All right, let's try it.
We got this nice Ohio connection going on. I like it. Ohio.
Why is this thing not sharing? I'm putting stuff up that I won't put up. Yeah, this should just sit.
Did the government take over? There we go.
No, that wasn't it.
Oh, that wasn't it. I've seen the Chrisleys.
Yeah, well, I had Fox News pulled up over on the other. It's supposed to be sharing the screen here.
The Chrisleys are getting pardoned. A sheriff, he got pardoned, and now Trump says he's going to pardon. Who else he said he was going to pardon? He pardoned. Oh man, who was that? He said today he was going to pardon somebody else. Liberals are going nuts.
Why? Why the hell are they going nuts? Biden pardoned everybody on the planet just about. Well, the auto pen did. You know, they might as well just shut the heck up. Nobody want to hear that junk from them anymore.
The auto pen.
Oh. There ain't no point in the world in them getting upset. Not at this point. No, sir. They got no reason, rhyme or reason to gripe, complain, nothing. All right. Why is this not coming up on my share screen? There we go.
Michael says there's an auto pen video on X.
There you go. We got her now. You ready for this?
What we go see? A 55-year-old man swim by?
No. No, he was holding the camera. It was a little choppy, as you can tell.
I just don't want to see. I don't want to see Joe Biden's swim trunks.
You don't want to see me in my Speedo?
No. I'll pass.
Uh,
Thank you, Miss Jen. Yeah, that's a hard pass on the Joe Biden look.
Not very nice. Oh. Yeah, Michael, this is my colonoscopy that I had over the weekend. You hear the boats. He's a big old damsel. Yeah. There's a, it'll show you. There's some damsels there and a Fiji devil damsel over here on the other side. So,
as long as something don't reach out and bite me out of one of them crevices, I'd be okay.
Well, you just never know. That's where the exciting part comes in. You never know what you're going to see looking down in these holes on there. You can see it did get some current going. But the water was pretty clear.
Yeah, water was clear.
Howdy.
Hello, James. Sir. How you doing?
James doing tonight?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Just I don't know. Just got home. Well, I've been home for a little bit now. Whining to myself about how work sucks.
It does.
We're looking at Rob's underwater adventure in Florida.
Looks
at
pretty
the
cool.
fish.
Yeah, you know, I love like boats and stuff, but I can't swim.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, I can't swim.
I can swim. I just can't stay off the rocks most of the time.
What are we talking about? I just jumped in. I'm not up to too current of events because obviously I've been at work, and you know they don't allow you just to sit on your phone and watch shit at work. I don't know why.
I don't know why they won't let you do that. It just seems like, what do they expect?
I know.
Not
our topic is what scares you or has scared you in your life, but we can talk about anything. But mixed in the conversation, we're going to talk about what has scared you in your life. Of course, James is a tough guy. He's probably never had nothing scare him, but except maybe the federal government probably scares him.
Well, yeah. Anybody with a badge scares me. But I wasn't kidding about the ex-wife thing. I tell you why. She was a good woman. She is a good woman. I ain't saying she's not. But she kind of went crazy in there before we split up. She had a dream that I was cheating on her. So I woke up with this woman straddled over my chest, just pounding the shit out of my face. And of course, when you wake up and you're being beat on, you don't know who it is or whatever. So I just started swinging back. Well, I broke her nose and blacked both her eyes. And like I said, she went crazy. And you know what she told people? She said something that pissed me off. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. This woman went crazy. She did. She went crazy. It was, I don't know. It's a long story, but yeah, my ex-wife scared the shit out of me. When we split up, I thought for the first 5 years I was going to come around the corner and get like an axe across my face or something, or in my chest. Oh yeah. She was hating life when we split up because it was my decision. But she got violent, guys. You know, it was the battered syndrome in reverse. It wasn't me on her; it was her on me.
Yeah, I know how that feels.
That happens a lot more than people think. It really does.
I come home from work one day late, and I was a manager. You know, when you're a manager and you're on salary, you don't really have a schedule. You sometimes you have to be at work till if something pops up, you got to be there till it's handled, and then you go home.
Right.
I opened the door to walk in the house, and all of a sudden I had coffee cups thrown at me, plates, crashing. And you know, I had one daughter that was still living at the house because I had 4 girls, and she was still young enough to live at home. And she looked over at her mom's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Because she didn't, you know, like say anything to my daughter that she was mad about anything. She was cooking dinner. And as soon as she heard me pull in the driveway and I opened the door, she started throwing every dish on the table at me and
Wow.
told me that I should have called her when I knew I was going to be late. And I said, I didn't, you know, I was in the middle of something. Excuse me. But yeah. Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
you
And
know-
she told everybody I turned gay. That was hilarious. It really was. She literally did that. She said that we split up because I turned gay. And
Yeah, well, you know what you do at that point, don't you?
no, tell me.
You look her dead in the eye. You look the people that she tells that to. You look them dead in the eye. Say, it's not my fault she grew a penis.
I'll tell you a quick funny story. So she's telling everybody this, right? So my older brother, I'm over at one of my daughter's house, which is like catty corner. It is a house I own, but she was living in it, and it was catty corner from my mother's house. And so my older brother was over there, and I was over visiting my daughter, and you know, he come walking across the road, and the yard was fenced in. So he like wouldn't come in the yard. He was like pacing along the fence line. He said, "Hey, James, can I talk to you a minute?" I said, "What?" And you could tell he was all nervous and stuff, right? Because, you know, he's not a fidgety guy, but he was fidgety. And so I walked down there. I thought maybe he was going to tell me something bad about my other brother or something, because he always used to get in trouble. And so he's like, "Man, I need to ask you a question, and you can answer me honestly, because I love you either way. It doesn't matter. But are you a homosexual?" I started laughing. I was like, "Do what?" He said, I gotta ask, you know, I'm not gonna mention, well, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Her name was Lois. Said, "Lois come over and told Mom and us that you were gay and that you decided to leave her because you found somebody else." I said, "Really?" So I had a good time with it. I thought it was funny as hell because, you know,
Oh,
back then, when we split up, I kind of like went a little wild because, you know, I went from being, you know, tied down to a crazy woman to having freedom. And I started dating all these strippers. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've had more quality than this old fat man ever deserved.
was that male strippers?
Well, you know what? It just depends on what night it was, I guess. The funny
Sorry,
thing
left
is,
door open.
the funny thing is one of those strippers is my love of my life, that we've been together 20 years now, and she retired for me, and so you know,
Awesome.
yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
yeah, you go from a, you know, kind of a, I don't know, it's not a wholesome background. I just, like I said, I kind of went buck wild there for a little bit, drank too much, stayed out too long, hung around with the wrong women, and maybe some guys too in there. I don't know. Sometimes you black out when
Maybe
you're
she
really,
remembers something you didn't, you know.
when you're really drunk, you black out. You don't know what happens. You wake up in a bed of 5, 6 people, and you could have multiple sexes in the bed. You don't know who touched what. I mean,
2 or 3 animals, you know, there's a couple of dogs and a cat there. You don't know what happened.
It's possible. I can't confirm or deny either way because I don't remember.
You know, got Michael excited now. He wants to know where that club is.
Well, that club is no longer here. It was in Columbus, Ohio. It was called The Body Shop. And I tell you why I went in there, because I like eye candy, don't get me wrong, but their alcohol was almost exactly the same price as a regular bar. So I thought, man, where can you go? because most strip clubs you pay like 4 or 5 times what the
Oh, yeah.
price really should be. You know, like a beer, like back then a beer was like a $1.50, right? And but you go into a strip club, it's $9.
Yeah.
But there is like $1.75.
Hmm.
So, you know, I was like, one of my mechanics, because I used to run a shop and I had a bunch of mechanics that worked for me. One of my mechanics told me about it. He said, yeah, man, you need to come down and hang out at this bar I go to down on the West End in Columbus. You know, we were in Columbus. The shop was in Hilliard. I said, you know what? Why not? I walked in there and I was like, oh my God, this is Disneyland for me. Jeez. Woo. I mean, they had like one big stage, 3 mini stages, and they had a stage behind the bar with a pole, and it was a horseshoe bar. It's like, whew. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
But I had been going in there for a year. And like I said, I hung out with all of them, and this new girl was in there, and I went in there after work one night and this is why I called you Ron, because it was Ron who was the mechanic. He hates El Caminos too, see?
Oh, okay.
And yeah, because I used to say it's business up front, party in the back. And I had an El Camino, right? And so we were hanging out partying, and we ended up in a park, and I was sleeping in the cab, and he had some girl he had picked up, and he got laid in the bed of the El Camino. And from that point on, he's like, the El Caminos are like the most awesome vehicle ever. So that's why I called you that, because you know your name's Rob and it's Ron. I was like, hey Ron. I was going down memory lane.
I'm
dude.
sure if that was in the nighttime festivities, Rob wouldn't have a problem with El Camino either.
Yeah, but
well, you know,
but to finish the story, we walked in there one night, and this new girl, never seen her before, was on the pole behind the horseshoe bar in the middle, and she spun around and flipped her hair up and did the splits on the pole. And I looked at Ron. I said, I've got to get to know that girl right there. And I got to know her, and here we are. She's been with me almost 20 years now.
well, yeah, she can
People-
do the
people
splits
would-
like that. That's talent.
Beautiful.
gotta
People
recognize
don't
talent.
even realize. I had a guy I worked with. He was an ex-Marine, or he's still a Marine, but he wasn't in the Marines currently. We worked together, and he introduced me to Lynn, my wife, and she worked at a bar. And people can't believe that, but her family owned a bar, and that's where I met her. My grandkids think that's the funniest thing. Yeah, they met in a bar. We've been married almost 40 years.
Yeah, you know, I tell that story, and she didn't used to mind it years ago. Now she like, don't tell that story. Don't tell them how we met. You know, because she left that life and became basically a domestic wife. You know,
Yeah.
she was into the drugs and everything that came along with that lifestyle, and she left it all behind.
Well, it's good for
Amen.
her.
Yeah, and
Very good
it
on
was,
her.
and she says it was me. I saved her life, is what she tells me.
That's
She
awesome.
don't say no more. And now she says I second guess my choices.
Wow, what a
I bet
story.
she's
That's cool.
She's a good woman. She was a good woman back then. She had issues at the time. She's almost 18 years younger than me, so she was young and didn't have life figured out yet. And
Yeah.
I was in my 40s, and I had to figure out what life was all about again after being with the same woman for 24 years. I think we were together. So
Wow.
yeah.
Life
time.
is a mystery, man. Sometimes
Yeah,
you just
you know.
never know the twists and turns it's going to take.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, and
And you know
I
what?
quit drinking.
Experienced. You know, you can't judge life.
I used to drink a ton. I mean, I was like, I could drink a case of beer and a half a fifth of Southern Comfort and talk to you just as straight as if I never touched a drop. That's when I knew I was drinking too much because it's like, oh man, it takes more and more to get a buzz. It's like, oh, it's time to quit. So it's like, yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, that's not.
I think
Yeah.
most people that kind of start out like that have, they have similar stories that you just get to a point, I mean, I drank. There were times I drank too much, way to excess, and
Michael says he'd have to find a senior citizen strip club.
I tell you what, when you find that, you let me know because I still love the atmosphere. I like eye candy, guys. I ain't gonna deny it. Now I'll drink a soda instead of drinking a beer, and the soda will probably cost as much as the beer. But
Yeah, but senior citizen strip club. I'm just picturing the action at the nursing home. Oh my gosh.
yeah, but if you think about it, if they take care of themselves and get breast implants, and it keeps them all propped up, they probably still look pretty hot.
Well, they'd have to get something to stretch the wrinkles out of their butt cheeks, probably.
Exactly. They got to work out.
well,
You talking
that's why your eyes get worse. You can't see as good.
That is a good
Oh.
idea. Take your glasses off before you walk in.
Uh,
Oh man. I
oh
tell you.
no. Oh no.
I didn't know that. How do you know that, Michael?
There's a nudist camp in the Georgia mountains with a lot of older ladies.
Man, sounds like I need to take a vacation after I get a few months into my job and tell them, hey, I got a medical condition. I've got to take a week off.
Yeah, it's called being older. I got a medical
Well,
condition.
they know I got a disability, obviously, because I walk around there with a cane. But yeah, I can play that up a little bit. As long as they don't watch this live stream, we're good.
It's on Google, probably. Yeah, I bet you really.
Oh.
Yeah, I bet you really Googled that. I know what you were Googling. What are you looking up? Be Googling stuff like that. Oh, cool. That's what the hip
Well, they
kids
say-
are calling it.
They say most nudist camps are older people anyway. They're not the Bo Derek, 10. That's not what a nudist camp usually is.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's probably something you don't want to see, and if you see it, you can't unsee it. And then it's just like, ugh.
Probably like me, running around in a Speedo.
Some people should just stay dressed. You know what I mean? I look good in clothes, so I'm fine. If I was nude, I probably look like Peter Griffin.
Oh,
Matter of fact, I'll tell you a real short, quick drinking story. We were at they had a concert venue. It's called Rock the Farm, and they had this like flatbed trailer set up out at the edge of this field, and everybody come and camped out for the weekend, and a bunch of bands were playing. Me and a buddy of mine, and he's like a big guy, big and round, and we were drinking Jaeger for about a day and a half, and Jaeger and Bud, and not a good combination, by the way.
no.
And so, like the second night, he decided to strip all of his clothes off, and his belly's so big you couldn't see his junk. So he really looked like Peter Griffin walking around the field, trying to all sweaty because it's like July, kind of hanging out. Everybody's got little bonfires and stuff, and he's trying to hug on people, and they're like, oh my god. And so he finally tripped and fell into one of the bonfires, and I had to put his ass out. His ass got on fire. Must have been the hair or something. And I had to put him to bed. And the next day he's like, "Who undressed me?" I said, "Are you serious, dude?"
That's when he pointed
Oh,
your
my God.
ex-wife.
And he's like, my ass hurts. My ass hurts bad. What happened? I said, somebody raped you, man, and I knocked him off of you.
Yeah.
That was good, but there was pictures, so we had to show him the pictures to prove it. So,
See, okay, that fits. I mean, the whole topic tonight was things that scare you.
there you go.
That would scare the snot out of me.
I have a whole bunch of scary stories like that. Oh,
You guys in Ohio party hard.
we do. Absolutely, we do. There ain't no doubt about it.
Well, I know several years ago, I was driving over to a girlfriend's house and I had on one of them, you know, them old fuzzy sweaters that have like the little hairs sticking all over everybody used to wear. Well,
Oh,
I
yeah,
smoked,
yeah.
and I still do. But I was driving down the road and I went to flip the ashes off my cigarette out the window. And that blooming cigarette got out there in the wind and it came back and it blew sparks all up on that fuzzy sweater. And that blooming thing caught on fire. And I'm trying to get over to the side of the road. I'm fighting this thing, trying to put it out. And I finally get over to the side of the road and I'm banging my thing. Get that. And somebody grabbed my arm from outside the truck. And I looked and it was a cop. And he red wrapped his jacket around my arm to put the fire out.
Did you
And
look
then
at
he
him? Say,
arrested me.
did you look at him? And say, "Am I arrested now?"
You know, he arrested me.
Yeah, yeah. He's
Yeah.
got to do his job.
Yeah, I was in illegal possession of a firearm.
Oh, yeah. That they tell me.
Oh, come on, man.
You're in Georgia. How's that possible?
It's a joke.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, here, no,
My
I have
arm
to
was on
ask.
fire. I know.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, it took a minute. Well, I have to ask because, like, used to in the state of Ohio, it was a pain in the ass for a firearm. So that's what clicked in my head, not your
Yeah.
arm being on fire.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a bad joke. Don't worry.
Yeah,
It was like
it was.
really
It was
bad.
what is it, like a bad dad joke or something?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
It's an old man joke.
Michael
Hey.
said, my life has been so rough, I can't really think of anything that scares me.
Let me introduce you to my ex-wife Lois, and then
And I just want to say, I put this in here earlier. Where'd that go? What did I do with that post? That person
Which
put in
post?
there. No, the one that I popped in there. from
Nothing?
Instagram.
Nothing from
Yeah.
Patty Cake?
Yeah, put that up. But where'd that go? Instagram. Wait a minute. Nothing. And you got patty cake? I gotta give you a hard time.
Patty
Patty
Cake
Cake.
55 is your screen name and nothing scares you. That's obvious if your name's Patty Cake. Oh,
I love it.
yeah, that's like
I love
growing up with the names guy having the name Sue.
yeah.
Yeah.
Michael said he ain't scared. He had one about equal to Lois. Well, I can introduce you to any one of my ex-wives, sir.
My best friend, his dad, he's a truck driver. So any of you that's truck drivers, don't take this the wrong way, but he was kind of a nut. But his mom and dad divorced, and in one of his trucking excursions, he met two Hispanic ladies, sisters, and he
Ooh,
moved them
yeah.
in.
Oh, he moved. Oh, he lived with him.
They were
Oh,
pretty. Now, hey, they were
Hey.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Full
but-
disclaimer, they were very pretty.
moving them in. I can tell where this story's going. Continue.
So while he's out on the road, they're turning tricks out of his trailer.
Did he get any?
He
of the
don't
money?
even know.
Oh, he didn't get none of the money.
He didn't get none of the money.
I can tell you
In
right
fact,
now.
they were bleeding him dry, like they were draining him and then telling him that they need more money, and he was wiring money from the road. And of course, they drained him dry. He lost almost everything. If it hadn't been for his mom, he would have lost everything. And he was trying to get the trunk open on his car to get the gun to end his life when me and his son intervened and grabbed the keys from him. And he just, he just sunk to the bottom, man. But he got fleeced.
I tell people all the time, men are stupid. They literally will go broke sending people they don't even know money. You know, there's the old guy, a bar I used to go into, not too long ago, because I had a friend that was a bartender there, and I used to go in and talk to him. And he told me all the time about this guy sending he's on disability like me, right? So he's sending what little money he's got left to these girls that he's talking to on the internet. I was like, is he really? He said, yeah. And he said, you want to know what's bad? I said, what? He said, he's living in his car out here in the parking lot because he couldn't pay rent no more because he was sending them so much money.
Oh, wow.
Men are stupid.
Yeah.
We have to do an intervention with each other.
Yeah, that's true. I told Rob we need to do an intervention with him for going out there in that ocean and getting hurt. You know, he's getting too old for that.
Not getting too old for it.
I tell you, you're probably right, but if you don't risk it, you'll never have a good time. You know what I mean? So sometimes you get injured, sometimes you don't.
That's right.
But if it's something that you got a passion to do it.
Amen. And I am passionate about it. I love to do it. You know.
That's like I say, I love boats, but I cannot swim. And there's a reason why I can't swim. I'll tell you real quick. My mother had brothers and sisters. Well, one brother and one of her sisters, like 2 years apart, drowned.
Ooh.
And so she would never let us. We couldn't even go to the public pool where there's lifeguards. She wouldn't even let us do that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and she wasn't there when her one brother drowned, but she was there when her sister drowned, and nobody could get to her in time, and so she had to watch her do it.
Oh.
And it affected her whole life after that, and then it affected us because now me and neither one of my brothers learned how to swim. And I know I probably can learn now, but she put that fear in me. So it's like, okay, I'll just stay on the boat.
Ain't it amazing how, and that's said a lot what you just said, how somebody can be in the water trying to get to somebody who's drowning, and it seems like you're so close, but by the time you get there, they're done, and you can't even find them for a while. It's really creepy. That is scary, though. I mean, it is.
Yeah, and whenever she tells a story, she could hardly ever get through it. It affected her deeply. And when I seen how much it affected her, it affected me when she tried to tell the story. I was a baby. I was there, but I was like 1 year old when it happened. So, I don't remember that, but I can feel it in her story when she would tell it.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why I don't swim in the water.
Wow.
So,
that's understandable.
I've heard stories of fishing ships and stuff like that going down. And when they go to recover the bodies, they will recover bodies sometimes with claw marks and skint marks on their shoulders and head, where somebody that was drowning tried to stand on their shoulders to get to the air.
Yeah, you panic. They panic, and that's what they say. How most people drown is something happens and they panic, and then they can't get their composure back, and they can't breathe right. And they say if you calm down and just allow your body to float a little bit, and then do whatever they do, dog paddle, whatever, you could get to the edge of the shore. But
well, you got the undertows and stuff like that. And it's like, what is that? The riptides down there, on the ocean, and people panic on that. There is a way to come out of it, but people try to fight against it, and you can't beat it. You got to kind of go down the shoreline and make your way back, but people panic on that.
And they swim against it. Next thing you know, they're out of steam and down they go.
Yeah, we have a reservoir here, and it's pretty big. And it has some kind of undercurrent in it. I don't know how that works, but many people has drowned in our reservoir because of this undertow. If you get caught up in it, it sucks you down to the bottom, and you can't get back up because it keeps pulling you down.
Wow.
And I don't know how that. Like I said, I don't know how that works in a reservoir. I could see that in a river or a flowing ocean, but in a reservoir it just seems kind of weird. But that's what they blame it on. A lot of people's drown there.
Well, it's Ohio. Y'all might have a Loch Ness monster up there or something.
Yeah, she's called Lois.
You sure that's the Loch Ness monster, not the Sasquatch?
Uh, no, I have to call her Loch Ness. I tell you what, I wish she hadn't went crazy because she was a very good mother, and I don't know what got it in her head to think that way because I did not do the things that she uh, was had in her mind. She just, I don't know what created these thoughts in her head. I just never, and we even had talked about it like years later when she finally was able to talk about it. And she said she has no clue. She had voices saying this stuff to her. And I was like, I wish I'd have known that. We could have probably got you some kind of help, but you didn't allow me to do that for you. You treated me like shit, and I just couldn't handle the abuse. And so, now we talk okay, but she's still a bitter, angry woman.
I kind of just got out of a situation like that last year, and yeah, we get along just fine now. I ain't talked to her at all. I mean, we get along just fine. Moved back to Tennessee, and I'm down here in South Georgia. She can stay her little grouchy ass right on up there. I'm gonna stay down here.
They say sometimes distance makes you fonder to the other person. So,
No, it makes me fonder that she's gone.
well, that's what I'm saying. The distance.
Yeah, yeah. I can't even hear her gripe from here.
So so it's all about being scared tonight, or we getting
It could
into
be
politics? Are we getting into? There's some lot of silly shit going on.
we can get into anything, brother. This is Hump Day Views. It's whatever we want, man.
Well,
It's
I'll tell
really
you,
open.
I really did have something that scared me one time, and I'm being serious this time. And I've heard of other people that have had similar experiences. But I have woken up in the middle of the night and seen like a shadow figure at the foot of my bed and not be able to breathe and just lay there and stare at it, and just struggle and struggle and struggle. And then finally it goes away, then you can breathe again. And I've heard of other people that's had a similar experience. What about y'all?
I honestly believe in the human body is energy, and I believe that energy probably still is around even after the body is gone. Uh, you know, I don't have no proof of that, but I honestly feel the same way what you're just saying. So whether they were good people or bad people, uh, that depends on what they are when they're gone, the energy that they leave behind. And I have a similar story, but it didn't scare me. Several months after my mother had passed away, several months during that time, I would wake up. At least I thought I was awake. I could have been dreaming, and my mother would be sitting there, and she would be telling me stuff, uh, just things like because my grandmother obviously was passed away too, and she was telling me that my grandmother was still as ornery as ever, and that although she couldn't wait to hug me again, take my time. I literally heard her say that, and it made me smile. And I used to see her all the time at the corner of my bed, and just smiling and like rubbing my leg. And I thought, man, I hope this is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, my best friend's grandmother, great grandmother was still living, and she lived in a little house, which is still there right beside, not far from where I'm at in the studio. And it was meant innocently, but she would tell the little kids when it was starting to get dark, y'all better get in the house. Said you don't want to get the bugs will come out and they'll bite you. She would say something like that. Well, in my little bitty 4 or 5 year old brain, I couldn't have been more older than that. I went to bed, and my dad said that I screamed so loud it sounded like somebody was trying to kill me. And in the dark, all these bugs were like crawling on me. I'm sure I was dreaming it, but it was like real to me. And so my dad, he comes, and he like Superman. There was a small hallway and 2 rooms, and he just exploded into the room, flipping a lot. I mean, he's in a fighting stance. Like, he thinks there's somebody in there trying to hurt me. And he's like, what the is going on? But when he flipped the light on, the bugs went away. I said, there's bugs there. There's bugs. And my dad's like, there ain't no bugs there. And he always said, it's okay. So, dads are tough, It'll be all right, man. Just go back to sleep, man. Just a nightmare. So I could hear Mom, what's going on? I think it scared her so bad. She was waiting on Dad to clear the room before she came in there. Anyway, he got the light out. He said he hadn't no more and got in bed, and it happened again. He come in there, he just scooped me up this time and brought me in there and put me in between them and said, I'll keep the bugs away and all that. He was asking me about it. And he kept asking me questions, and I must have finally said that, because he kept asking me, why are you focused on bugs and spiders and all that? And finally I must have said something about her, and he went and had a talk with her. And he said, listen, I know you don't mean to, but you scared my kid half to death. Don't say things like that, But to me, it was as real can be, man. I was just a little kid, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I speaking of stuff when I was a little kid, you watch movies when you're a little kid, right? Is there a character in any of these movies when you were little that just scared you to death? And it's funny because now I'm an old man, and I still think about that fear of this character in this movie I watched. I still get that same, and now I think it's funny, but I still get that little instant clip of emotion when I think about it, because I watched the movie several times over the years. But have you guys ever have a character in a movie that just like scared the shit out of you?
I'm trying to think.
My mother took me to see Jaws when I was 5, when it first came out.
Yeah, I watched Jaws when it first came out. Yeah.
And I loved it. I wanted to leave at first because they started playing that music, and that dun. She said, if it gets too scary for me, before you let me know, we'll leave. And they started playing that music, and I was ready to go. But she said, no, let's stay a little longer. And I loved it. Absolutely fell in love with it. And I was already in love with sharks. And that just reinforced it throughout my lifetime.
See, it didn't scare you. Well, I tell you, the character that I'm talking about is, y'all remember the movie Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, right?
Oh, yeah.
The child catcher.
Child catcher.
Yeah.
Man,
because children were allowed in this town, because remember the king it was a child himself, and all the toys had to be made for the king. Well, they had this like greenish guy that wore like a oversized top hat and had a big long nose with a net, saying, I'll get you, I'm gonna where's the children? And he like do like this dance and offer them candy and shit. That thing scared the crap out of me. I was like 6 or 7. I was like, man, that stuck with me for a long time.
Yeah. Michael said we had to walk through the woods to the outhouse in the dark, and you couldn't get scared because you had to go to the bathroom already.
Right. It scared the shit out of you.
Well, I will tell you, I'm glad he said that, because I wasn't really allowed to watch a lot of movies, any scary movies when I was little. My family really shielded me from a lot of that. But him saying that reminded me, my dad had this idea to rent the house out. We moved away, and he was thinking about making money, and we moved up to this house, and they were building the bathroom. This house had never had a bathroom. It took them about a month to finish it, and we had to use the outhouse. It's the only time in my life but for a solid month. But that outhouse was close to the railroad tracks. And the first time I was scared of the thing anyway. I was always afraid I was going to fall in. Like it was like a black hole, you know. And that train come by. It was so close. It shook that outhouse. And that terrified me. It absolutely terrified me. Because I thought I was going to fall in because the whole thing's shaking, you know. Oh, my gosh. I think my mom had to go with me every time after that and just be there with me because I was I'd say, is the train coming? Is the train coming? And, in the middle of the night, the dishes would fly off the shelves if you didn't have them set right because it shook the house, too. It was crazy.
Yeah. My mom is from the deep hollers of southern Kentucky. And, of course, everybody did. I remember when my great uncle and aunt had a house that had an indoor bathroom. They thought they were like the richest people in the world. And I ain't kidding. That literally the rest of the family thought that was awesome that they had a bathroom in the house. But my mom was scared of snakes. So she would tell us all the time about going to the outhouse and watching out for black snakes. So saying that, I never figured out why they built the outhouse attached to the pig pens. All my family down there, their outhouses were, 3 walls of the outhouse was inside the pig pen. And I think I was 13 or 14. I said, why do you guys do that? Is it because of this? I thought it was because of the smell. You're shitting already and the pigs stink. I really thought that. And then he's like, you are from Ohio, ain't you? That's to keep the snakes away. Pigs eat snakes. I said, oh, good to know.
Pigs will eat snakes.
I never thought of that, to be honest. I got
educated. Yeah, because I was from Ohio. That's what they never said Ohio. Ohio. You're from Ohio. You Buckeye.
Well, remember when Burt Reynolds in Smokey the Bandit, he basically said, you're ignorant depending on what area of the country you're from, going into other areas because you don't know what they like or what, so you could go to another place and they're like, you feel like you don't know nothing because you wasn't raised in that environment. So
yeah, I remember that conversation with him and Sally Fields because they were trying to get to know each other and they were mentioning celebrities' names and people and he's like, no, I don't know them. No, I don't know them. And then
she mentioned like Elton John. He was like, no.
Yeah. I watched that. I was so in love with that movie. I think I watched it like 60 times because when HBO first came out, that was like one of the first big movies that played on HBO. And I was like, this is awesome. I get to watch this over and over and over again.
Now, there was another movie that came out. HBO had been out for a while that I watched. I remember watching it when I was in high school. And it didn't scare me, but I thought it was cool as snot. Poltergeist, the first one.
Yeah, Poltergeist.
It had Craig T. Nelson in it. Oh, dude, that was awesome. I mean, for the time period and everything else, the effects in it were great, and it was the way that it just built up and built up and built up.
Well, I remember watching The Exorcist, and you've seen the movie, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah. And you watch it today, and you think, oh, that's very poorly done special effects. But back then, when you're a little kid, you're like, oh my God, it scared the crap out of you. She's levitating, she's puking green shit all over the place, and she's talking foul language. I'm like, she's got to be possessed. Look, it's a little girl talking foul language.
Are you still talking about Lois?
I think he's talking about Lois still.
It's a possibility. I never thought about that. I think
some of that sounded a little familiar.
I think she's done all that, but puked the green stuff. So you could be right. Yeah, to me that was like the most awesomest horror movie one of the first ones I ever watched that I really liked because I thought it was like badass at the time, but today you watch it and it's like, oh my God, how did I even think that was even scary?
Well, how many kids were terrified of Chucky? You know, that people would.
I wasn't
kids would
terrified
say,
of him. I wanted to hang out with him.
Yeah. And same thing with Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger wasn't scary. He was freaking hilarious.
Yeah, that's like the uncle that you don't really tell everybody that you're related to,
Yeah,
but you'll hang out with him.
absolutely.
Well, you know, I don't usually get scared at stuff, but I turned on the TV. It hasn't been but a few months ago, and I was watching this thing, and the camera panned over, and I saw some lady with blue hair, and there was some guy with a stick. It was kind of scary. I think it's called the Democratic Party.
I'd get ready to say blue hair. It must have been a Demtard.
It was a scary looking crowd with a scowl.
You see, I was just fixing to go there. I turned on the TV around noon the other day, and there was the view. It scared the snot out of me.
Oh my
I
God!
went running away screaming.
Ooh. Did you see the report that just came out that RFK and them are working on this doctor had when the COVID was at its highest point, and Fauci and them, I can't remember the doctor's name, but they discredited him like crazy. Well, now they discovered the stuff that actually about COVID-19, of course, that the mask wasn't necessary. You know, you had a better chance of just washing your hands than dealing with the mask, they said.
Yeah.
And if you got the shot, if you got the boosters, you are almost guaranteed to get COVID because the boosters gave you a 72% chance of contracting COVID-19. So
I didn't see it. What was it I saw he was working on? He was working on he's got like 4 or 5 main thrusts that he's working on right now with fluoride, with that, the dyes, different things that he's really pushing right now. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, the fluoride, but that like kills your brain cells, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's what they said it did. Or it turned the frogs gay. I can't remember.
Maybe the frog's gay. I don't know.
Yeah. You know, our water treatment plant here where I live has never been the best operation. Maybe I had a stint of drinking too much water back when my ex-wife was accusing me of what she was accusing me of. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Could have been. I could have been there for a little bit, I guess. I just don't remember because I was drinking so much. So,
well, you might have been drinking
it's a possibility.
fluoride.
Maybe she was drinking a lot more water.
Yeah. She was trying to be healthy.
That's a possibility. That is a possibility. I just made that weird, didn't I?
It's okay. Michael said, keep each other
you know, around here,
and in demon possession.
Yeah, around here you have to watch about drinking the Kool-Aid because of where I live and Jim Jones and all that stuff. So
yeah,
you gotta watch if somebody offers you Kool-Aid. You gotta be a little worried.
I'm worried if anybody offers me Kool-Aid.
I like the fact when the Donald was overseas and the Arab guy brought him a drink and he just looked at it like he wouldn't drink it.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
In the little cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know he's a germaphobe. I am impressed that he's been able to like shake people's hands and you know pat them on the shoulder and stuff because he's always been a germaphobe. So you know I didn't know how he was going to handle that being a politician. How you have to you know get up close and personal with a lot of people, taking pictures and stuff. But he's done pretty good. So apparently he's worked it out in his brain.
You remember the little fella that was at the speech, you know, that had the brain surgeries and everything, that wanted to be the police officer? Yeah, I can't think. DJ.
Yeah, none of the Dems would stand up and applaud him.
Yeah, I saw a video of him the other day. He was talking to some police officers, and he was talking about, I can't remember which female Democrat was cracking on him and giving him a hard time. that made fun of his head, that not even knowing this kid has had multiple brain surgeries. And he is so funny because he was like, well, I look like this because I've had all these surgeries on my brain. He said, have you seen her head, what she looks like? And those cops were dying, man. He blistered that politician, man. He got, I've got an excuse.
Good.
What's yours?
Wasn't it? It was Wasn't it Jasmine Crockett that cracked on him? I believe it's who it
Yes,
was.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy.
That's a
I like
crazy. That's a crazy woman right there, trying to
Who's
be
that?
all Jasmine Crockett.
Oh, yes.
She's trying to be all ghetto. I'm more ghetto than she is because I truly grew up in the ghetto and she never did. So for her to act ghetto and she doesn't really do it well. But I seen her on that Colbert show the other day. I don't know if y'all watched it, the clip of it. Everything she said was a complete lie. And the way they clap, it's like I don't know. That woman, I used to talk about her all the time, then I got tired of talking about her because every day she says something stupid about the president.
Well, it's like, what's her name? They used to be on MSNBC. Joy Reid, is that her name? That was everything was racist. Everything.
The one that was crying. I did important work. My show was important. It meant something. Yeah, it meant you was a racist bitch, is what it meant.
How y'all doing coming in the stream? They appreciate y'all popping in, rating the stream. We're a lot of friends here. He's probably James's posse.
No, it ain't mine. Yeah, I don't think any of these people know me. I'm like the real bad comedian. I have poor timing with my jokes and everything.
Well, at least you didn't get arrested for having a firearm.
That is true. That is true. I tell you what, I did get. I didn't get arrested. I got detained and taken downtown and put in a holding cell because I had gotten a car and I hadn't got the title switched over yet. And I had my plates on it from another vehicle, stuff you shouldn't do, by the way, people. And a buddy of mine wanted to visit one of his family members over in Indiana, so we had to cross state line, right? So I'm in this, it's a little 260Z, and I'm flying down the highway. I get pulled over. I couldn't prove anything. They couldn't get a hold of the guy that I had got the car from because he wasn't answering. But that was like before cell phones. And so I got detained for Grand Theft Auto. It took 6 hours for them to get a hold of him. So before they'd let me go. But I had to pay a $250 tow bill to go home.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I made my buddy pay it. I was like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So, but he paid it in payments though. I had to pay full price up front and he had to pay me back in payments at $20 at a time. Took forever.
Wow.
True
we
story.
went and got the first time we ever got a lawyer. Like I had to get a lawyer for my son, and I'd never dealt with it. I mean, I just was really, I didn't know how the process worked. It was trying to see his kiddo, trying to custody. But anyway, so we had a meeting with a lawyer, and he's like, "Okay, we'll get this started. We'll do this, blah blah blah." And I said, "What's that going to cost?" And he told me the price, and I said, "Now, how does this work?" Because I didn't know, like, if you paid like half down or I didn't know. I just was trying to figure it out. We had some money that we were going to pay with, and he goes, usually, Mr. Cordell, we get all that up front." I said, "Okay."
Wow.
So we walked out and paid.
Yeah, lawyers, they like their money up front.
I'm thankful that I've never had to use a lawyer but a couple of times in my life. I mean, the less the better,
True that. And I live in Ohio. Sorry.
Nothing against lawyers. I don't want any lawyers mad at me.
No, no, no. Most of them are Jewish anyway.
It is one of the professions, that's for sure. Hey,
Yeah.
James, where have you lived in your life? I know you're Ohio, but you mentioned that you lived near
I lived in Florida
Panama.
for a while.
Okay, just Florida.
Yeah, I was 50 years old, and the company I was working for, I was starting to have my medical issues, so I left FedEx. I was the manager at FedEx, and the job just took too much of a toll on me physically. So I was working for this dealership, and they said, "Man, you know," and it was an international dealership because in Springfield, Ohio, they build international trucks here, Navistar. You know, it's been here since the turn of the century. But anyways, they wasn't allowed to buy. This company wasn't allowed to buy any more international dealerships. So they started buying Peterbilt dealerships, and they said, "Would you go down and help this guy that's out of this manager's out of Oklahoma, and you two get this dealership up and running?" So I said, "Oh hell, you mean live in Florida? I'd
Oh,
love to live in Florida." So I went down there, and I was there for 3 years, a little over 3 years. I love Florida. Florida is awesome. Georgia's awesome, except
yeah.
for Atlanta.
Yeah.
Atlanta sucks.
Yeah, Atlanta's Yankee
I'll,
State.
I'll drive 50 miles out of the way just to not have to go through Atlanta. That traffic through Atlanta sucks. But
It's
anyways,
horrible.
I lived out an hour south of the Georgia border, uh, down in Lake City, and then like it was like 2 hours over to Panama City Beach, and then it was like a little over an hour over to Jacksonville.
Right.
But man, I really, Panama City. I like the white sand. Jacksonville was brown sand. Panama City, it was white sand.
Oh,
The golf is awesome.
yes. The
And
Gulf
the
of
women,
America. That was
yeah,
my
the Gulf of
first
America.
time. My first time going to the Gulf of America. I've been
There you
baptized in the waters of the Gulf of America.
They,
America.
and the women are beautiful down there.
Oh,
My
I
God,
didn't notice that.
you didn't?
Yeah, I did.
He's a liar.
But yeah, the reason I moved back is my mom got diagnosed with cancer, so I moved back to help take care of her, and I just
Yeah.
never. And then my health got worse, so I just never went back. I would love to move back to Florida. I'd love to just move south anyway, just to get out of Ohio and get into. I hate winter, but hopefully before I die, we get the opportunity to move south or something and live down there somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're able to keep our cats down here. I mean, where you're at, cats are
yeah,
disappearing.
Yeah, we don't have a cat problem here. We don't have strays. Still don't have strays. That's being straight up. You'll not find a stray cat in my whole neighborhood. You can do a 10-block radius and you won't find stray cats.
Chuck, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him, Chuckers. Oh, you're gonna get. Oh, you done got Chuck nervous. Come here, Chuckers. It's okay, Bubba.
Chuck's like, I don't like hear what I'm hearing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been to Florida 2 or 3 times, but not. We never lived there. I had some family that lived there for a while. So, and I have traveled it, some speaking at churches and stuff. So,
Well,
They don't mean it.
I bought a house down there, and
Oh.
I was gonna my girlfriend still lived up here, and because she had gotten in an accident at her job, because she went straight. She got out of strip and went to a regular job. She worked in a factory and she got hurt, so she was dealing with a workman's comp case. So she had to stay up here. So she lived in one of my houses up here because at the time I had 5 houses. That was my investment for my retirement, and so she was up here. I was down there. I was traveling back and forth as best as I could, to keep a relationship. And I actually bought a house down there. I said, because I eventually wanted her, when she got done with her case, to move down there with me. And the house even had one of those mother-in-law houses that was out
Yeah.
back. So I was going to try to convince my mother to move down there with us, and but at the time that before we knew she was sick, and so and palm trees to me are the most fascinating trees ever. When you wake up and you walk out in your backyard and half your yard's sand and the other half is green grass, and then you got all these tall palm trees, and it's just like, man, life is good here. And you could ride a motorcycle in January. You know what I mean? It was awesome. But I had to I sold it and moved back here. And it was I tell you what, it was 72 degrees down there when I moved back up here. It was 14 degrees when I pulled into the driveway up here. You want to talk about a weather shock?
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, sorry, we just got hammered there. I've been trying to thank everybody for popping in. We got some follows out of that, a bunch of likes. Hey guys, we greatly appreciate it. I think I got all y'all followed on mine. Dave will get you.
I'm working on it.
He's working on it too.
Well, you guys can follow me because I need followers.
Yeah, follow James too.
I'm part of the Rumble partnership, and I got my hours in, but I don't have enough view. And you know how the hours of view time. I don't know if you guys are part of that or not, but you have to have 200 hours of viewing time, and I don't. I got like a little under 100. I still got to go, and ain't many days left in the month. And then I'm doing one of my premium live streams tonight for Rumble Premium. I'm bringing my car content from my YouTube channel, from my very first video. I'm going to live stream my videos from my car content, and then I'm going to make fun of myself of how bad my videos were when I first started. So, it may be funny, it may be depressing. It just depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, that's
yeah, everybody give and don't forget Empty Pockets Podcast is James's podcast, and we appreciate his friendship, and
you guys are awesome, man. When I'm up in the morning and I because a lot of times I may be up, I may not be up, but when I'm up and I'm torn because like Kim's Coffee Talk too, you know what I mean? But you guys start before she does, so I kind of like split between the two as best as possible. But I like yesterday, I left you guys and I had to go do something, but she was still on, and then she called me and she, oh, come on, get on the link, come on in. So I was in like the last 15 or 20 minutes of her live stream. But yeah, you guys, you're funny. I try to be funny. I'm not, but I try to put the effort in because I talk, you all seen my live stream. I don't know if Rob has, I know Dave has. Rob don't pay attention because I don't know.
I don't stay very long on Rumble. Rumble doesn't run real good on my setup. I love it.
What are you on?
I'm on a desktop. But I generally, it kind of just, a lot of it probably has to do with my connection here. I run off of a hotspot. I live out in the boonies. I don't have good options for internet.
I was going to ask you guys, you're running two channels at the same time when you guys are on, right? Because I have both of them. I follow both of them. And so I try to figure out which one to get on, and I don't know how you see each other's chats or not. But how do you do that? Because like, Big Tony, right?
Yeah.
Me and him is wanting to do that. I go on his show, he comes on mine, but we were wanting to do it to where both our live streams were live. So we have some of the same followers, and they're torn between who they're going to watch. You know what I mean? So I try not to be on at the same time. That's important to me. When somebody has a set, like Tony comes on at 6 p.m. every night, Killer Carl comes on at 8. So I tell myself I never will live stream at those times because I want, to me, it's a family, and I want to take care of family because they're taking care of me. And like I said, you guys, I'll tell you, Southern
Just don't
people.
tell you what we'll get into. And some mornings we're more fired up than other mornings.
Yes, I was
And
gonna
we
say
know that.
Southern
We
people
try to-
are. You guys are funny. I love Southerners. They have a spin on everything that the way of life and then how you talk about things, and it's just it makes me chuckle.
Well, we decided when we started the podcast, which is just over a year now, that we wanted to be. We do serious stuff, but we wanted to have a lot of fun. If we're not laughing, it's because
Yeah.
we're mad as crap about something that Democrats are doing, and we're raising Cain about that. But the rest of the time, we're usually goofing off and having fun and just trying to make people laugh.
Yeah, and I know you. Probably I get a little serious and probably too raw sometimes because I get pissed off about stuff. You've seen my live streams. I try to a lot of times I'm not trying to be funny at all. I'm just trying to get the message out there. And sometimes you're pissed. And you're talking about it when you're pissed, and it comes out angrily sometimes. But I like it when I get to hang out with other people on the live stream, whether it's mine or y'all's or whoever's, because I get to have a better time with it. Even serious subjects, we can laugh about it.
It's like on Cornbread Nation show that we do on Thursday nights. One of our things on that, our topics is jack legs of the week, or jack wagons if they're really bad. And we both come up with our 3 top picks for jack legs. And generally we wind up on a soapbox when we start off on them.
Yeah, and I got into this in a crazy way, and Killer Carl, he's the one that convinced me to do it because I wasn't a podcaster or a live streamer or whatever. I didn't think I could talk and somebody would listen. You know what I mean? It's like nobody wants to know what my opinion is on stuff, but he's like, "Nah, you need to do it. You really do." And so he convinced me of doing it. That was like almost 6 months ago, and here we are.
Yeah,
I have I do my live stream simulcast with one of my YouTube channels. So if you have a problem with Rumble, I also have a YouTube channel called Jimmy Pockets.
Okay.
You can hang out on that. I'm on Rumble when I do it, but
that would help me out a lot.
YouTube. See, like my brother.
What was the name of that one?
Jimmy Pockets. L-2E is how you look it up. I don't know why they do that on
Pockets.
Jimmy Pockets. Yep. You'll know when you find the channel because it's a cartoon character of me in my mechanics uniforms with my empty pockets pulled out. Yeah,
we're gonna look it up.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, I got that name from when I started doing political stuff, and on my car channel. I never intended on doing that on my car channel, but people kept saying that I'm not empty pockets no more because of all the views I'm getting on that channel. I'm Jimmy Pockets because you can't call me empty pockets because I'm getting rich, which I wasn't. You want to know why? I never monetized that channel. I never thought about monetizing the channel. I just was, it's a car culture. When I made my first video about the Haitians here, I was just talking to my friends who watched me work on cars. I didn't think 2.3 million people would view my video.
Wow.
Yeah. You just never know, man. Hey, I just gave you a follow on the YouTube one, man.
I did too.
Thank you.
That's a cute logo. I like that.
Yeah, my girlfriend drove that. And then the one I have on Rumble is AI generated cartoon.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hey, Miss Elizabeth.
Uh-oh. Miss Elizabeth sneak in here on us?
Yes.
She calls us gentlemen. She's so
Gentlemen.
sweet. She is such a lady and classy. She actually calls us gentlemen.
Apparently she hasn't met me yet.
Oh, no. You're a gentleman for now.
We know you're a gentleman. I mean, you rescued a lady out of a bad lifestyle and gave her and honor her now and take care of her, and that's awesome.
Yeah, well, you are right about that. And as bad as it got between me and my wife, we did not split up until my youngest one was groaning out of the house, and then that's when I said I had to go, because I was raised without a father, and I said I'm not going to do that to my children. So I stuck it out, so my children would be grown with a mother and father in the house.
Good night, Liz. Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
so
Liz,
much.
appreciate it.
What was a defining moment? Like, okay, all the kids are out. Like, was there a defining moment where you said, okay, today's the day I'm out? Like, this is the last straw.
When I woke up and she was beating the crap out of me.
Oh, that was the defining. Well, that's a pretty good defining moment.
Well, and that was bad enough, but like I said, you wake up, you punch back because you don't know what's happening to you. I did what I did. I wish it hadn't happened, but it was her fault. Broke her nose, blacked both her eyes, and then she was telling people these awful stories about me, and almost got me beat up because we were out I tried to hang out with her, try to be the good husband, and I said, okay, well, let's go out and have a good night, whatever. And then she was telling that story in a bar, and these girls in there was saying that they're going to get their boyfriend to beat the shit out of me because I don't need to be hitting on a woman. So I had to get out of that bar with 5 dudes calling me all kinds of names, telling them they're going to take me out. I'm a piece of shit, hit a woman, stuff like that. And I was like, oh, this woman's going to get me hurt. I can't be doing this no more. She's crazy. I'm done.
Yeah.
Wow. I remember along that topic there, I had a buddy of mine, I had to get a tattoo covered up, and he was getting a tattoo, and we both went to the tattoo shop, and I went in first, and it was 2 women folk back there doing tattoos, and the whole time I was back there, I got them started talking about deadbeat dads and all this kind of stuff, got them all fired up and told them, well, hey, that guy that came up here with me, he ain't paid child support ever, he don't do none of that. And I had them all fired up talking about it. I mean, just carrying on. I didn't tell him he wasn't divorced or anything. But when he came in there, he told me after, he said, you son of a... He said, they did a good job. Man, they about killed me in there. What in the world?
Was those 2 women Secret Service agents?
Probably.
Well, y'all were talking about that this morning when I jumped in. You remember what I told you? Know how that fight started, right? Or why it started?
I think maybe you had said that one was late for work.
Yeah, it was like two something in the morning, and this woman was supposed to be at work at 11:30 or midnight, and she showed up late, that late. And the other, they called them Secret Service, but they were uniformed. How is that Secret Service if you're in a like a cop uniform? It don't make no sense to me. I think they were like Secret Service in training or something.
Right. You can't tell what we are.
I mean, how hilarious is that when y'all about get here, I'm going to beat this bitch's ass. I was like, oh my God. It was funny.
It's the craziest story I've ever heard, man.
Yes.
There's a lot of bad stories about Secret Service agents over the last like 8 years, 10 years. During the Obama years, they had issues. During the Biden years, they've had issues with them, doing inappropriate things while they're supposed to be protecting these people. So the Secret Service has really lacked, slacked real bad. And I tell you, my girlfriend, her brother's wife, he was in the military, and so was she, and she got out of the military. She was Secret Service, the real Secret Service. She protected the vice president. And she used to tell stories. It's just like she got out of it because she's like, it embarrassed her. She didn't want to have her name attached to the stuff that these people were doing, and she didn't want to be embarrassed. And because if she, when all that stuff would be found out, then she said, "Well, I was Secret Service at the same time." She didn't want to be any part of it. So she was an upstanding lady. Well, she is an upstanding lady. But yeah, she would tell us stories before we ever heard that shit in the news.
Well, there's one former Secret Service agent. If you don't quit slacking, I'm going to be real upset with him. That's Dan Bongino. I'm ready for some action.
You know, that interview, the where he said, you know, Epstein did commit suicide. And the other one said, yep, I seen the report, the full report. He didn't do it. He committed suicide. I'm thinking, and they looked like they were like hostages having to read a note. You know what I mean? Like holding it up saying, yes, we are being handled very nicely. They are being good to us. They are feeding, you know what I mean? It's like, you guys are.
Yeah. It was like, well, I know what a suicide looks like. I mean, it was like, that sounded so stupid. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I know what the evidence says.
Well, you know, have they ever committed suicide? No. They don't know what it looks like.
Well, like I said in your chat this morning, okay, I'm one of those individuals. I always say, let's connect the dots. So, removing his cellmate that morning may not be nothing by itself. Okay, that's fine. The cameras quit working. Okay, by itself, maybe that's not a big deal. Okay, that's all right.
Yeah.
The guards fall asleep. By itself, that's not a big deal. Maybe. But then he knows exactly when to commit suicide while they're sleeping.
Yes.
So you put all that shit together, and you got to look at Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and say, "You're bullshit." You cannot, you know. And you say, "Well, the MAGA people, I know the conspiracy theorists, but no, he did commit suicide." No, MAGA does not believe you. You're lying.
Yeah.
And this is after, especially, they've not been doing interviews.
Yeah. But what would be so bad about just telling us what happened? I mean, look at the line of bodies from Hillary and Bill Clinton.
Oh, yeah.
And even continue on. Look at the line of bodies. And we can't link none of that.
Well, it's like
And
I was
everybody
saying,
thinks that's just, you know, shot, 17 times in the back is suicide? What kind of stupid crap is this?
but
You know,
like I was saying in my podcast, what scared them to bring out this bullshit story? Because, you know, politicians do it to us all the time. You know, they're lying when they're lying to you, but they really are trying to do it in such a convincing way that they think that you actually believe the lie. And some do, but what scared them to accept this story they're telling us now and try to do it with a straight face?
what
Something
convinced them to
scared
drink
them.
Kool-Aid?
Something has scared them, because you
What-
realize the Epstein stuff, the videos and everything, because that man, he was very good at doing this. And I think it was all so that other people could control other people with blackmail.
It
So
might very well have been, too.
the richest and most powerful people in the world are involved in this stuff. So which one got to him, or which group of people got to him and said, look, he committed suicide. Remember that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just don't believe it.
Well, you know,
I don't believe it.
it's like what makes a mercenary over in Russia go back after he's turned on Putin, fly back into Moscow to be killed. And what made them stop going to Moscow when they were an army moving that way? I think it's they threatened their families. Like they said, we'll kill everybody in your family. We'll kill everybody around you. And I may not have said it to them like that, but I'll bet you they've put a fear in them that their families are in danger. It's got to be.
Yeah, and you know, and just the fact that they did that to Epstein proved to Kash and Dan that they can do it. They can reach out and touch you anytime they want.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, I'm out of coffee. I need just a few minutes. Let me run go fill my cup up, and I'll be right back. I don't go too far without my coffee, James.
I'm surprised you ain't got a red Solo cup. Just saying.
I've got one, but it's put up. I'll be right back.
I have one, and you see what it says. Empty pocket.
There you go.
Oh, I like it.
That's for my YouTube channel, my car content. We sell these.
Cool.
Awesome, man. We'll be right back, folks. Hey, Southern Fried Podcast fans. This is Dave the AM for the Southern Fried Podcast. We want to advertise for W, who's got some special things going on. So, are you tired of those energy drinks that you drink and they give you the jitters and the crashes that come from the typical drink? Look no further than W Energy Drink. It's a revolutionary new beverage that will keep you energized without any of those downsides. For a limited time, folks, W is offering an incredible 30% off on everything they sell. That's right. You can stock up on your favorite flavors and save big while enjoying the smooth, sustained energy that only W can provide. I'm a customer member, and I can testify to this. I love this drink. No shakes, no crashes. And if it can help my mental acuity, I'm happy too. Awesome. They have a unique formula that provides you a perfect balance of focus and vitality without any of those unpleasant side effects that we don't want. No more of those shaking hands, crashing you in the middle of the day. Just pure clean energy to help you tackle any challenge that comes your way. But don't wait too long. This 30% offer won't last forever. Go on over to W's website now and start shopping. Remember to smash that promo code Southern Fried into the area where they ask you to put that in there, and it'll help us as well. You're still going to get the 30%, but it'll let them know that you are supporting us, and so we appreciate it today. So try W Energy Drink and experience the difference for yourself. Your body and mind will thank you for making the switch to the energy drink that truly delivers on its promises. Don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity to save big and upgrade your energy game with W. Don't forget, use that promo code Southern Fried. All right, folks, we're back. One more note. Don't forget Patriot Mobile, great company. Use the promo code Cornbread. Cornbread is our promo code. The first month will be free. Great company, America First, based in Texas, been around 11 years. I can tell you, I've talked to these folks many times, have business meetings with them. They're awesome. They are people of faith. Their customer service was very patient with an old guy like me trying to figure out how to do my phone, getting it set up and everything. The young man was awesome. And the best thing, James, I could understand him. I could understand him. He was as country, or maybe more country than I was, but he wasn't out of the country. He spoke redneck, I guess, but great people, love them, and we hope to be with them a long, long time. So on Rumble, his name is Empty Pockets Podcast, Miss Jeneth. Empty Pockets Podcast. And I will pop that back up for you so you can see that. Give me just a second. We're trying to get our friends list up here. We'll have to update it when you get all these follows, man. So we keep your, what do I do? Here we go. There we go. Empty Pockets Podcast. There he is, right in the middle on the left-hand side. Brother James. Right under Killer Carl.
The good-looking guy in front of the American flag. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. The good-looking guy.
I'm a brave man. I'm a brave man. I put my face on my logo.
That is.
Because I have a face for radio. I just got to.
I do too.
You guys are like really way more high tech than what I can do. How do you get these sponsors? I don't know how to. I guess I don't know how to self promote good enough.
We'll me and you need to have a phone call one day, man, and we'll talk that out. Some of them just reached out to them. They have an affiliate program, and we're still building that base for that. We've got a lot of things in the cooker, as you say, just trying to get the time to get everything up to speed. But that was a real good quality commercial that was there. I mean, you guys are way high tech compared to what, I mean, you see what I do. I'm low tech as can be. I'm a
I'm a tech idiot. But yeah, I thought, well, that's cool as hell how you did that little commercial there. So I was just wondering, I wasn't looking for a sponsor. I was like, how do like you like Carl? I know how Carl gets them because he has like 37,000 followers and people just reach out to him and want to be part of it.
Well,
But,
here's the secret sauce on that. We had a guy who is a great guy, Robert's brother-in-law. He helped us set up a lot of stuff, but he has his own channel. He has some health problems, and after he kind of got us off the ground, then he left. And me and Rob, we're on the air one day, and Rob goes, "Hey Dave, you're gonna have to be the tech guy because I can't be that." So it kind of got. I got voluntold to be the tech guy. So I've worked on that and worked on it. I've just got better at. Well, I used to do some radio, so I was used to putting together spots, but I just use all the tools and I do a lot of trial and error. And there's a lot that's cut that's on the floor, and then I finally get something I like. And it's I've just worked at it. So. But I'll do all the commercials and stuff, and except sometimes me and Rob have done one together. But like, I just set it up, and then we'll get in there and talk together. In fact, we need to do a new one. We need to do one together for Patriot.
Yes, we do.
But yeah, just as we've went, you know how it is, man. You just grow as you go, trial and error, putting together. Some things just don't work, and or it works, but it's not great, and you just try to get it better and better as you go. Some people out here are amazing to me. They're very high tech. I'm not a graphic artist, but I use whatever tools I got at my disposal and I make it happen. So we've been able to put up a lot of different things. And but that logo that is behind us there on the screen now, that was put together by our friend Chris. He did the early versions of stuff. And so we still use some of that stuff. Some of it we don't much anymore, but the really good SFP stuff, the yellow, the black, that we still use. Absolutely. It's on our business card, matter of fact.
Yeah, you guys is like the logos are really cool looking. And I was always impressed because when I first seen that, I was like, man, how can I get mine to look that cool? You know what I mean? And then it's like everybody's like so far advanced compared to me. Cause like I said, I did up till 6 months ago, I was making very poorly edited videos on working on a car. So
yeah,
it's been longer.
And hey, I'll be glad to send you some stuff, and you can delete what you don't like and keep what you like. And when I'm tooling around one day, messing around with some stuff, I'll send you some stuff and see if you like it. You're not gonna hurt my feelings, man. Everybody's got taste, and you just figure out what you like. If you don't like it, give me ideas what you like, and we'll figure it out, man. We're here to help too.
Yeah, the thing about that is I'm so ignorant to that stuff. I wouldn't know how to use it, like to put it on my stuff. And I just asked Big Tony earlier today. He's on, when he does his stuff, he's on all social media, Instagram, X, Truth Social. I mean, he plasters his stuff on all of them.
We do too.
We do too.
I don't know how to do that. I mean, I would love to.
A lot of work.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even know if I kept track of it good enough. You know what I mean? Because he says how he does it on Rumble, and then he preloads it and puts it on the others.
Yeah, we do the same thing. Rumble's a great platform for sharing your shows. There are a couple of platforms it doesn't work on, but I use Facebook for those. Some things I just don't.
See, I have an Empty Pockets Garage Facebook page, but I hardly put anything on it because those videos are really like spaced out. I don't, but the live streams are a lot. And I want to make a new Facebook page for my political stuff. And I just haven't got there yet because I don't know if I procrastinate because I don't know what I'm doing or I'm just not that smart.
You're a smart guy. You just got to get in there and just roll up the sleeves like you would as a mechanic and just work with them and do a lot of tutorials. And we'll be glad to help you, man. There's things we can do to help you.
Yeah.
What was that?
I get lost on that mess.
What's that, Rob?
I get lost on that mess. I
See,
mean,
that's me too. You know, if you throw a Holly carburetor in front of me and tell me it ain't working right, I need to fix it. It's fixed. I can fix it.
yeah,
You throw a laptop in front of me and tell me that you know put some graphic designs on this and add this to that, and I'm like, what?
yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
Let me call one of my grandkids. I need help.
Well, yeah, utilize all the tools you got because grandkids are great.
Yeah, you know, my daughter's helped me on a few things, but Carl's been probably the biggest educator for me. Like it was hard for me to get Rumble started. Rumble Studio was not my friend when I first tried to make the channel for. At first, it was hard to make the channel to begin with for me. I kept having problems that just kept, you know, erroring out of everything I did. It was an error. So when I finally did it, and then I couldn't live stream for the longest time, and Carl, I think he got frustrated for a little bit. He's like, "No, you got to do this. You got to do that. No, no, no. I told you not to do that." You know, and it's like, okay, but I finally figured it out. So here we are, and but it took a long time. It took like almost a month to get to where I could live stream for the first time from when I made the channel, and my technology knowledge has creeped up from there.
Yeah, and it will. Carl's a great guy. I
He
appreciate
is.
him.
He's awesome. Carl.
He tries to
Carl's-
help others, and you know, that's what's great about the Rumble family, man. They really
Yeah.
do. There's some social streams that's dog eat dog. I won't name them, but the Rumble folks that there may be some jerks out there, but everyone I've run into has been a help. They've not been a hindrance.
You know, there's a certain channel, I'm not going to call the name, but there is a certain channel that I don't care if we stay on there or not, to be perfectly honest, because we get a lot of trash comes in off that channel.
Are they what is like their content like super controversial or
A
something?
lot of the
or
people that come in there,
bunch of trolls?
yeah, they're
Yeah, security's pretty bad.
and you know, for us, it's been a slow grower anyway.
That's what she said.
And yeah, and you,
Told you, bad comedian. That's me.
no, that was a good time. It's never a wrong time for a that's what she said joke.
Exactly. I say it all the time.
So they, but this same channel, I mean, it's horrible for censoring and all this other kind of stuff. I don't have a whole lot of use for it. I will use it from time to time. We do air out on it, but you know, you really have to watch every word that comes out of your mouth.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, I was telling you, I simulcast on YouTube, and I have to. I usually within 24 hours, I have to go in and edit something that I'd done in the live stream to be able to keep the video up on the YouTube channel, because I get some kind of a community guidelines violation or a copyright or whatever. It's always something. So I've learned once I'm done with my live stream, I wait like 6 hours because it's for whatever reason it takes that to completely load to where I can go in there and edit it. And I have to go in there and clip the crap out of it. And I always tell people, if you watch a video from my live stream on my YouTube channel, some of them may not make sense because I'll be talking and then I may have to remove a minute and a half of it. And then it's clipped right into the next thing I said the minute and a half later. And it don't make no sense from what I was saying a minute and a half before. So it's kind of funny, but it's not. But it's sad I got to do that on YouTube. But I started on YouTube, so I kind of got an affection for it because my car channel.
Yeah, well, that was one of the first two that we started out on.
Yeah, because my car channel, I got almost 24,000 followers.
Wow,
Awesome. I mean, we've got over 1,000 videos on YouTube.
Yeah, you guys kick it out there. I'm telling you, you guys work hard because you're on here, you know, morning, night. You know, it's like so many of you guys put the effort in. I don't. Sometimes I hate to say it, I just don't feel good, and I don't feel like setting everything up and doing something, even though how easy it is to sit here and talk in front of a camera. Sometimes you just feel bad. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah,
see,
I've
like,
had that the last couple of weeks, man. There's a couple of nights. My wife's been in the hospital.
Well,
I've had nights I didn't sleep good, and there's been a couple of shows that I just couldn't do it.
is
And
she
so
okay?
she's better, home recovering. She fell out at a restaurant and face planted and broke some bones in her face and got a brain bleed. But
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I appreciate it. She's home and getting better. But man, that 2 weeks was it's a blur to me, man. It's a blur. I don't think I missed but one regular show that we do, but I didn't do a couple that I normally do that I just do by myself. I just wore out, man. Just flat wore out.
and see,
Completely
we do 7 shows a week, me and Dave, and there's a lot of those shows that Dave does that I've got my own issues between my back, and I'm epileptic, and I got all kind of stuff that I'm trying to keep up with around the house. And there are days that I need those days off. If I don't have them, I mean, my brain just goes fuzzy. And but still, I mean, we do special shows and interviews from time to time on oddball nights. So sometimes we may do 7 to 10 shows during the week. But
you know what's cool? What's cool, but it's not really good for my channel. Is I like hanging out with other people on these live streams. So I am on everybody else's live streams more than I'm doing my own.
You do get around, man. You do, and that's cool. Though
Yeah.
it means you're good company, and you are. I know why people want you on. Well, it struck me earlier tonight. That's why I said it. I told my wife, I said, I have never had him on. I need to ask him. I said, it just kind of hit me, and then you come in the chat. I'm like, hey, there we go. We appreciate you coming up, man. You're a lot of fun. You're cool beans, man.
I'll come on anytime y'all want me to. If I'm up and I'm in chat and you want me in here, or if you want to pre-schedule something, you just let me know, because this is the most fun I have is hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
And just whether we're talking something serious or we're just bullshitting, whatever. To me, it's like, because I don't have any, actually, believe it or not, I don't have any friends here locally because they're either dead or in prison. So this is the most I get to talk to other men. You know what I mean? Just hang out.
Now look, Friday night we're going to have our birthday party on Front Porch Talking. That's our Friday night show. It starts at 8. You're welcome to come on up in. Jenith, Elizabeth, Steve, whoever's on tonight, Michael, all you guys, y'all come on. We'll send you a link. We're going to try to fill our chat up. And we're just going to tell you what,
I'll come in, hang out. I'll be on.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, it was supposed to be Monday, but we've just had different things going on, so we're going to do it Friday.
Trying to get back.
I tell you what, when we're not on live stream, Rob, let me get your address, man, and I'll send you a El Camino Hot Wheel.
That's okay.
Cool. You put it on the shelf behind you.
Why I want something ugly like that on the shelf behind me? Look at them fish back there. I'd have to have that a real El Camino Hot Wheel marine.
It's a special vehicle.
Huh?
It's a special vehicle.
Okay.
That's right.
El Caminos are awesome.
Fair enough.
Man.
I will send you my address.
Let me get your address, man. I'm sending you a El Camino Hot Wheel.
Well, it's better than the blow-up dolls that was delivered to his house,
Wow. Really? No? See,
no, but he did.
Because,
he did send a stool sample by mail.
I did. I did. Yeah, it was one of those color guard things. And it said put it in the box. You have to put it in the box, put it out there, and they're supposed to come out and pick it up. And the UPS guy came by he made a wrong turn. I was up at my uncle's mowing. So I said, "Oh, man, you're here to pick up." He said, "Yeah." I said, "It's down yonder. You went the wrong way." I said, "I just got a little box of shit for you down there." So he went down there and he picked it up, and he came back by and he was dying laughing. He said, "You literally meant a little box of crap, didn't you?"
Yeah, I've had to do my fair share of stool samples.
Oh, oh, and I got to tell you, I also sent something to our Celtic blacksmith at Half Pine Forge, and he his first live, me and Dave and I, we kind of crashed it, and we decided we'd air it out on our channel, so we aired him out on our channel too, but we couldn't get the voice in. So I was kind of doing my own voice along dialogue for him and stuff like that. And I was typing in comments into his, and he had his forge. I don't know about blacksmithing, and I don't know if that's a big forge or a little forge, but it looked like an easy bake oven. And I told him, I says, dude, is that an easy bake oven? And he read that post, and he's just stomps off to, man, there ain't no easy bake oven. I can feel the heat on that way over here. And he went back, look, I was like, what size light bulb you got in that thing? But he, I ended up sending him a shirt. I don't know. Let's see if we can.
I like my forge, but I have my easy bake oven.
I love my easy bake.
Oh, I love. Oh, yes, I can see it now. My glasses.
Says
I
I
gotta
like my
get.
forge.
I gotta get a new prescription of my glasses. I'm having a harder time reading with these things lately.
But, you know, I sent that to him, and I had one sent to me, and he got it in, and we both wore our shirts that night. Of course, I had a long-haired black wig over here that I wore because he's got long dark hair, and you know, he was like my son that night. I was so proud of him. I like my forge, but I love my easy bake. You know, he really has this thing. He's probably not in here tonight. Hopefully he comes in here right at the tail end, which sometimes he does. But he has this thing for AOC.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, she's hot to him. He keeps saying that he can fix her.
Big Latino booty.
Yeah, he's gonna fix her political ways and such as that. He's gonna get her fixed. I said, that's okay, because Maxine Waters said the same thing about you. And he's it's been kind of an ongoing thing there, you know, and he's always says, and there it is.
Well, you know, I mean, I'd hook up with her because think about this. Before she got into Congress, you know, she was a bartender and had a hard time paying her college tuition. And less than 8 years later, she's worth $29 million. So I'd like to hook up with that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know, dude. There's just some lines that I just can't cross. And the mental deficiencies that it takes to be a true and honorable Democrat or Democrat or whatever it is just more than I can overcome.
Turn the light off.
That don't stop them from talking.
Duct tape.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, her and Bernie's running around the country trying to promote socialism.
Yeah.
And you know, even they can't fill a crowd without paying them.
Yeah.
You know, they're using Kamala's crowd. They probably got them at a discount.
I wonder, you know, they had to have had already made up. You know, they did. They had to have had made up already a bunch of merch items for her, Hillary, all the. There's probably some kids in Africa that's walking around with a Hillary president, 2016 shirts or something. You know, they had that crap made up, man. They had it ready to roll.
Oh yeah.
Because they sell the stuff as soon as a ball game's over. You know, Hillary had a bunch of merch items ready to go.
Well, she was convinced she was going to win.
Well, everybody was telling her she was going to win.
Right. Well, and that's like everybody was telling us Kamala's going to win, but they were telling her the truth. They all knew that she wasn't going to win. That's why she just started drinking and just saying whatever at the last few weeks of her campaign. Because, she was drunk a lot up there on the podium.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
They joke about that, but that was true. She just started drinking heavily because she knew she was losing, and she didn't really give a shit. I don't get it. They knew they didn't have a strong candidate, but they just wanted to screw everything up as much as possible before they got out of there. They did.
Yeah,
They
they had to
did.
give away as much money and all that stuff.
Yeah, they
So-
did so many horrible things to muck up the system, to have the President Trump walk into a shit show and spend all of his time trying to clean the mess up.
Yeah,
It's unreal.
and like we were talking about at the beginning of the show, now that Trump has pardoned Christie and all them, they're raising hell about it. They need to shut the bleep up. All right. They had their time with the auto pen and the whole 9 yards. Biden pardoned every damn blame person that might have done anything illegal in the last 15 years and in the next 15 years. And let's just let everybody get scot free. And good.
Did you hear how many people Biden pardoned?
How many? I mean, it set records, I think.
8,000 people were pardoned.
You reckon
Wow.
Corn Pop got a pardon? I mean, Corn Pop had to have a record.
Yeah, because Corn Pop was a mean dude. No joke. I'm serious. I come from a working class family from Scranton. Corn Pop, he was rough. Scranton.
Now, wait a minute. How tough can you be coming from a working class family?
Well, yeah, but when you're down there at the community pool and you got all those black people rubbing your leg because they like to see the blonde hair stand up on end in the water.
Yeah.
Corn Pop got pissed off at that.
Oh yeah.
He's like, leave my people alone.
Yeah. Well, that's just because he was sniffing the little girl's hair.
Right. And he was really fascinated because the hair had cornrows.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
And
video where they mocked up, and all those people are standing there listening to that story. I mean, their faces say how much of crap that is. I mean, you just got to look at them. It's like, how much did they pay him to stand there and listen to his Corn Pop story?
Yes.
I tell you, Biden has told us publicly since the 80s that he could be bought. Did you ever see that video back in the 80s when he first got into Congress?
Oh, I'm not
He
sure.
literally said, I could be bought. He said it. As I watched the video, it was unreal. He had hair back then instead of the implants.
Yeah.
But he literally said anybody in Congress can be bought, believe it or not. He says I can be too.
Well, yeah.
I think he was trying to make a point that anybody can be corrupt, but that he literally meant it because of what happened over the last 30 years.
Yeah.
He's like,
well, he's big guy.
Yep. 10% to the big guy. It gets me is they make so much bullshit stories about President Trump's children when literally they said nothing when Hunter was riding around in Air Force Two all over the world making deals.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff, I saw that where Elon is leaving the Trump administration.
He was always scheduled. He was always scheduled to leave. That's not a big story because he promised President Trump he'd work with it for 120 days. That he said he would not, he would leave his businesses and put, all in for 120 days to get Doge started. Yeah. So they act like he's been, forced out because he's worried about the Tesla stock prices and all this other stuff. That's not it.
That's not it.
It was his time to go already. His group are still going to be there. The people he put in place are still there. They're still doing the job. It's just he's going back to do his businesses again. He's going.
You
back
reckon?
Go ahead.
Do you reckon he will help build the Golden Dome, the missile shield? You reckon he'll be involved with that?
China's already threatened us over that.
I know, and so is North Korea.
Yeah, I don't get it. If we build a Golden Dome for our personal protection, why would another country worry about that? Because it doesn't affect you if you're not shooting at us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Remember when everybody laughed at him when he created Space Force?
Yeah.
And now we got all this technology that, Space Force is a very important part of the the military now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of intelligence coming through, and there's a lot of stuff going on. It's kind of, Reagan dreamed it. Trump's going to put it in place.
That's true.
Well,
Absolutely.
you were asking why they would be concerned about us having one. If we have one and they don't, that puts them at a disadvantage. Militarily, it puts them at a disadvantage. And that's why they're getting all upset about it. Because now they're going to have to spend a like amount of money to build something for themselves so they can keep up.
But it's because of how they interact with us. It makes us feel like we need to do it.
Yeah.
Because we can't trust them. We can't, obviously, like Russia. I don't know why everybody acts like we're supposed to be the enemy of Russia, because the Cold War has been over with for a long time, and China is more of a detriment to us than Russia ever has been. And plus, I always say, how can we partner up with Russia to do the International Space Station, but yet we can't partner up with them down here on Earth? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But, I do also agree that Putin has gone crazy. I do agree with that. I think he has gone off the deep end.
Well, make no mistake, Putin is a stone cold killer.
Mm-hmm.
He started in the KGB, and every opposition he's ever had since he's been in power has went away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He was eliminated.
So, he's a stone cold killer, kind of like the scorpion. The scorpion's going to sting you no matter what. So they do what they do because that's just who they are. And so if you got to treat him just exactly like that, I don't think he's gone crazy. This whole thing that's happened over this past week, I mean, Zelensky tried to kill him again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's like a mob boss. It's like, you kill one of mine, I'm going to kill your whole family kind of thing.
Yeah.
I used to say Israel's like that. Israel is like that. You kill one of us, we're going to kill 10 of you. And so, when people are acting like, they're trying to commit genocide in Gaza, what you expect, you attack them on October 6th.
Yeah.
I think they need to be annihilated so that threat can never happen again.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we're fixing to go, but I'll just say this: it's what Putin wants is he does not want NATO to come any closer in those republics, those former Soviet republics, and he will fight. He will go to war to stop that. I do believe that. It would be a bad move for NATO. They cannot bring Ukraine into NATO. That would be horrible.
Yeah.
Or Georgia or a couple of other states there. He will go to war to stop that. I believe it.
Yeah.
Ukraine is not an honest broker. That they've always said that's been like one of the most corrupt countries in Europe. I mean, look, where did
strong ties in with Biden? How could they not be corrupt?
Where did Russiagate come from? Ukraine. That's where it originated from. And then you got Zelensky over here campaigning for Biden, and then wanting to demand things from Trump in the Oval Office.
And then he got his little short butt kicked out of the White House.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So we cannot allow them into. And Russia's completely right, because they are a corrupt entity. Plus, they have true Nazis in their military. They have an entire, wing of their military is true Nazis. They even wear the, I don't know if you've seen it or not, like an upgraded version of the swastika. We can't allow them into NATO. It's just not. It's stupid. Russia's completely right. They have the right to be concerned, and we should make sure that they don't have to worry about that. Because look, China's chiming in, helping them out. North Korea's helping them out. Iran's helping them out. I mean, them's big dogs you don't want to fuck with altogether.
Yeah.
Individually, maybe, but not when they're a team like that. And they would be a team. Believe that.
Oh yes.
And Rob, you were saying the Chinese would have to build their own. No, they don't. They won't do that. They'll just pay somebody else over here that's willing to sell the country out for the technology, how to bypass it, how to shut it down. That's what
That's
they'll
not what
do.
we've got to work on. We've got so many Chinese agents in here. I heard them talking about earlier today on the news that like Harvard, one of the reasons why they want to shut it down was because every Chinese person that comes over is a potential spy. They tell them, look, listen, learn, tell us what you find. And 1 in 10, they said, are real spies. You got that kind of people, that many coming into this country. They know. We got to put a stop to that. That's no better than the southern border or worse.
Well, I mean,
Right
you had
away.
one. You had one that was a chauffeur for. I can't think of her name. The one lady that passed away she was a chauffeur for her for 20 years.
Feinstein.
Feinstein, yeah, and they didn't do nothing about it. I mean,
Yeah.
not that she may have known anything about it or not, but they should have removed her from some of those committees, just for the simple fact. And then look at Swalwell, who was
Yes.
banging
That's what they
banging
said.
Fang Fang. I mean,
Yeah.
you're right. Everywhere you turn, there's a Chinese spy. They even, they got college
Mhm.
students that they found out to be Chinese spies. And then look at all the land that China has bought. Look how much American soil is owned by the
Yeah.
Chinese now. That should have never been allowed. The Democratic Party, basically give the blessing to do that. And I am so disappointed in our government. They literally have forgotten it's about we the people.
Yeah. It's not about we the people for them anymore.
No,
It's about us politicians.
It's about getting rich. I mean, when you look at what they were worth before they were elected and then what they're worth now, all of them just about.
Yeah.
It's like,
Where'd all this money come from?
well, it comes from places like USAID and, the money laundering. People get confused about how would they get rich if this money's being sent to other countries and stuff. They forget that all these non-government organizations that are getting that money, usually the person who is an administrator over it usually gets like a $500,000 salary, and then they donate back to the campaigns of all these politicians. That's how they get the money back into the country. So I'm just completely disappointed. I love the Constitution, but I think we need to burn it all down and start over again. Not the Constitution, just the people who are elected.
I could go along with that. You know what? At least get term limits.
I'm a big yes. Term limits would limit the corruption. You're exactly right, and term limits for the staffers too, because now they're saying that at least 3 of the staffers for Biden were getting pay to play for this auto pen. That's why 8,000 pardons. They pardon murderers. That one pardon was they murdered 3 police officers. And they pardoned that individual. So these staffers are claiming the possibility they were making money off signing this auto pen, pardoning these people. And I believe it because it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's like that judge that he pardoned. I mean, he was sending kids to work camps for basically slave labor. They got convicted of it, and they proved it. He was running up inmate counts for like petty stuff. Oh, you stayed out drinking too. Oh, some kid got caught drinking. We'll send you here to the work camp. We'll teach you a lesson. And the judges were getting kickbacks on it.
Well, we have that similar problem right here where I live. When a Haitian gets in trouble in this town and they get charges against them for whatever, domestic violence, a traffic violation, whatever, they never get convicted. How's that possible? Because they know that if they get convicted, they get put on the deportation list.
Yeah.
And so they they never get convicted. It's public record where they dismiss the charges time and time and time again. And they outright do some of the horrific things around. I mean, our murders are up. It's crazy. This is a little town, and we have a murder problem.
Yeah.
It's the auto pen. Getting back to that, I think, and they said they've been using it for a long time now. All but back in Obama and all them were using it also, and they said it's a legal thing to do. I think at least for the president's sake, or at least for that office, they should remove the auto pen and make it illegal to use, at least going forward, because if something like a pardon of a murderer, I want my president to actually put his signature to that and own it. When he does an executive order, I want to make sure it's my president signing that executive order
You're
and
right.
own it. Not have some staffer have the right to do it because he's in another state and he said, "Oh yeah, go ahead and sign that for me with auto pen."
Yeah. No.
Really?
No.
Yeah. I mean,
I know I'm long-winded.
your
sometimes,
name
guys, I'm
is
sorry.
important, and I want to know where my name is being placed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to be giving that up to nobody.
No. Like I said, at least for the president or even just the whole government, none of our government officials should be allowed to use auto pen. Because, we have a thing called FedEx, FedEx Express. If a president is in another state or even in another country, you can just about get a package overnighted to almost anywhere in the world with FedEx Express. I know, I used to work for them, right? So that president can get that within 24 hours and sign it. And it don't have to go back to the White House to make it official. It can go back when he finally gets back into town, but it makes it official from the point of the time he signed it. So there's no excuse to use it going forward. None.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know I'm long-winded, guys. I apologize.
Oh, well,
No,
it's
you're
about
good.
time for us to get on off here tonight. We're so glad you came in here and joined in with us, though. And
Been a blast.
yes, we're gonna get this thing fired back up again Friday night, and we're just gonna have a party and just celebrate a 1 year on the air and go with it.
Awesome.
So,
I'll be here.
we're gonna look
Good deal,
forward to
brother.
it.
We'll
Good
send you an
deal.
invite. Thank you so much.
All right,
Yeah, it's
well, everybody,
fun.
give us a
This is my
like, follow us,
most
subscribe.
favorite thing is to hang out with everybody. It is. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. That's our favorite thing too. Y'all give us a like, follow, and subscribe. Y'all go check out Empty Pockets podcast there. Give him a like and follow. And we will see y'all back here tomorrow night for Cornbread Nation. Oh yeah.
Cornbread Nation.
So
I got to
all
come up
right.
with some titles like this.
we come up with some weird stuff.
Well, I have movie Monday.
Yeah, you do. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Billy Jack. I played Billy Jack this Monday, and next Monday it's the trial of Billy Jack.
Ah, cool.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, guys, y'all have a great night. We'll see y'all tomorrow night, 8:00. Be there or be square. We'll give y'all a great old big salute. And we will see y'all tomorrow night. Dave might see you in the morning. Depends on how you
Yes,
feel.
I will be on.
Okay. All right. Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.